The chamber of the Galactic Council was a vast, circular space designed to overawe. It worked on almost every species. Thousands of delegates from 1,000 worlds sat in tiered observation rings, their varied biological forms a tapestry of the galaxy's sentient life. At the center, in a well of polished obsidian, stood the accused and the accuser. The air, a carefully balanced mix of gases for the primary species, hummed with a tension that was almost a physical weight. Commander Vor of the Krill Empire stood rigid, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the soft light. His 4 arms were folded across his thorax, a posture of pure defiance. He was a warrior of a species that had conquered 100 worlds through sheer, overwhelming force. The Krill were not diplomats, they were subjugators, and he had been brought here in chains. And his neural disruptor deactivated to answer for a crime so vile it had united the usually fractious council in unanimous outrage. The accuser was not a fleet admiral or a planetary governor. It was a small, fragile-looking human girl. Her name was Ilara, and she was 11 years old. She stood on a repulsor lift platform to bring her to eye level with the council's presiding officer, a vast, crystalline entity known as the Arbiter. Her clothes were simple, a patched tunic and trousers, and her hair was a tangled mess of brown. To the assembled delegates, she was the very picture of a primitive, larval stage being from a backwater world, a world, they had recently learned, that was classified as a death world. The Arbiter's voice resonated not through the air but directly in the minds of everyone present. Commander Vor of the Krill Empire, you stand accused of the unprovoked attack on a non-combatant, a juvenile of the species Homo sapiens, on the neutral world of Xerxes IV. The evidence recovered from your own ship's data core is irrefutable. How do you plead? Vor's mandibles clicked in a sound of pure contempt. He did not look at the council, but fixed his multiple eyes on the small human. I plead guilty to the efficient culling of a pest, he snarled, his translator device buzzing. The Galactic Council's own records classify Terra as a death world. Its inhabitants are not merely sentient. They are a biological arms race given form. Every creature on that planet is a predator, a poisoner, or a parasite. The dominant species is the most dangerous of all. To allow them free passage among the civilized stars is an act of galactic suicide. I saw an opportunity to eliminate one of them on a backwater moon where no one would notice. A mercy killing for the future safety of the Krill Empire and, I would argue, for the entire council. A wave of horrified whispers washed through the observation rings. Many species, from the gentle, photosynthetic Zith to the slow-moving, ponderous Gronth, recoiled. To attack a child was unthinkable, a violation of the most sacred tenet of galactic law, a law put in place millennia ago to prevent the sort of endless, genocidal wars that had once nearly torn the galaxy apart. The human ambassador, a gray-haired woman named Anya Sharma, rose from her seat. Her face was pale, but her voice was steady. The Krill commander admits to attempted murder. He calls the premeditated slaughter of an innocent child a culling. This is not justice. This is a confession. We demand the harshest penalty. Vor finally turned to address the council. You are all soft, he hissed. You have lived in your protected bubbles for so long, you have forgotten what true danger looks like. You see a child. I see a predator's cub. A wolf in pup's clothing. You coddle them, invite them into your worlds, and one day, you will wake up to find they have eaten you whole. My only regret is that my aim was not true. The Arbiter's light pulsed. The prisoner's defense is noted and summarily dismissed. The act of willfully attacking a juvenile is a universal constant of civilized behavior. Commander Vor, you are found guilty. The penalty is termination. The sentence will be carried out immediately." Before the security drones could move, Vor let out a chittering laugh that was abruptly cut short. A small, clear voice cut through the hum of the chamber. "Wait!" Every eye, every sensory organ turned to the human girl. Ilara looked up at the Arbiter, then at the Council, and finally, her gaze settled on the chitinous form of the Krill commander. There was no fear in her eyes. There was curiosity and something else, something that looked almost like pity. "He's wrong, you know," she said softly. Her voice was amplified by the chamber's acoustics, carrying to every corner. "About a lot of things." Vor stared at her, his antennae twitching. "The cub speaks," he mocked. Ilara ignored him and continued to address the Council. "He says he was trying to cull a predator. But he didn't even see me. I was just sitting on a rock, watching the sunset. It was pretty, with 2 moons. She paused as if remembering. "He shot at me from his ship. He didn't try to talk, or study me, or even scare me away. He just shot. That's not what a warrior does. That's what a coward does." Vor lunged forward, stopped instantly by a shimmering energy field. "You dare!" he shrieked. Ilara didn't flinch. "He's also wrong about what a Deathworld is. He thinks it's a place full of monsters. It's not. It's a place that teaches you. Every day. From the moment you're born." She looked down at her own small hands. "On Earth, the wind can freeze you solid. The sun can burn your skin. The water can drown you. The plants can poison you. And the animals, they all want to eat you. Oh, or they're afraid you'll eat them." She looked back at Vor. "It's not about being the strongest. It's about being aware. Always. My grandfather took me fishing on a lake once," she continued, her voice gaining a quiet strength. "He said the most dangerous thing in the water isn't the pike or the snapping turtle. It's the water itself, if you don't respect it. He taught me to watch the clouds for a storm, to feel the change in the wind, to listen to the birds. If the birds go quiet, something's wrong. It's a song you learn to hear." She pointed a finger at Vor. When his ship appeared in the sky over Xerxes IV, it was the only thing in the sky. The little animals on that moon went silent. The insects stopped buzzing. The whole world held its breath. It was telling me something was wrong, so I wasn't just sitting on a rock. I was watching. I was listening. Ambassador Sharma stared at the girl, a dawning understanding in her eyes. The other delegates leaned forward, captivated by the small being's words. "When the first energy bolt hit the rock next to me," Ilara said, "I didn't freeze. I didn't scream. My body just moved. It's what it's trained to do. It's what Earth trains you to do. I rolled into a gully, found cover behind a boulder, and I ran. I didn't run in a straight line. I zigzagged, like you do when a hawk is diving for a rabbit. I used the terrain. I found a crack in the cliff face, a place his ship's weapons couldn't reach." She took a deep breath. He thought he was hunting a child. But on a death world, every child is prey. And every child learns how not to be. It's the first and most important lesson. He didn't assault a helpless kid. He tried to hunt something that's been hunted by the best the universe has to offer for 1,000,000 years. Vor stood motionless, his arrogance finally giving way to confusion. This was not the behavior of a terrified larval creature. This was the calm assessment of a fellow survivor. The Arbiter's voice echoed. "The account is compelling, but it does not change the nature of the crime." "I'm not trying to change it," Ilara said. "I just wanted you all to understand. He doesn't deserve to die for what he did." A shocked silence fell over the chamber. Even Vor seemed stunned. Ambassador Sharma was on her feet. Ilara, no, you don't have to. Ilara held up a hand, silencing the most powerful diplomat in the human delegation with a gesture that was centuries old. He deserves to live with what he tried to do. He deserves to know that he failed, that a larval predator outthought him, outran him, and outlasted him. Killing him is quick. It's easy. It's what he would have done. She turned back to Vor. You see a wolf in pup's clothing. You're wrong. You're looking at a human child. And a human child, on a bad day, can be a lot scarier than a wolf. The council was in an uproar. Never had a victim spoken for their would-be killer. The debate raged for hours, but in the end, Ilara's simple, profound logic, born not of diplomacy, but of a lifetime of listening to the warnings of a dangerous world, won the day. Commander Vor was not executed. His sentence was far worse. He was stripped of his rank, his neural disruptor was permanently deactivated, and he was remanded into the custody of the human delegation. And his punishment was to serve as a manual laborer on a newly established human agricultural colony on a world teeming with non-sentient, but incredibly aggressive, life. A world classified by the humans themselves as a mild inconvenience. Vor, the mighty Krill commander, found himself digging ditches under the blazing sun of a planet called New Texas. The mild inconvenience turned out to be a relentless hellscape of heat, dust, and enormous six-legged reptilian creatures with a bad temper and a taste for chitin. He was guarded not by soldiers, but by weathered human farmers who carried tools that could double as weapons and regarded him with the same wary indifference they showed the weather. They didn't hate him. They just found him to be another piece of the landscape that needed managing. One evening, utterly broken, covered in dust and the ichor of a creature he'd had to fight off with a shovel, he sat on the porch of the main homestead. The human family who ran the place, the Millers, sat with him, silently watching another spectacular sunset. Old Man Miller, his skin like worn leather, spat a stream of brown liquid into the dirt. Tough day, Commander? Vor didn't answer. He just stared at the horizon. He finally understood. He had looked at Ilara and seen a predator. But he was wrong. She was something far more complex. She was a product of her world, just as he was of his. His world had made him a conqueror. Hers had made her a survivor. And survivors, he now knew, didn't need to conquer anything. They just needed to endure. And they were very, very good at it.